Today's cut is brought to you by Aesthetic Inception. Today we're gonna kick this video off by just letting it be known this video is a remake of the video that I previously made with this client. I know I didn't have audio in that video, it was just text. So this video is way more in depth. Here I'm going in with my triple lot, and I'm creating the base guide for where I'm going to be beginning my taper. And today I'm doing the mid taper, slightly dropping it in the back just to keep it along the occipital bone. Now cleaning up everything underneath. I created a base maybe like half an inch from where my taper will begin, just so that I can clean up to it and then still remove everything I need to remove without actually going into my area where I'll be using my blade clothes, my adjustables. So now just cleaning everything up. As you can see where I kind of dropped it out a little bit. Now going in with the one blade, cleaning everything up, but still making sure I try to bring a little arch to it, just so that when it does dip in the back, I still can bring it over with the into the edge up. So now, like I said, using the one blade, just making sure I clean everything up, get a smooth guide before I go in with my adjustables and create my taper process. So now I'm going in with the close to open to halfway method, and then detailing anything else that needs to be detailed along the way. I feel like this method is fastest, and at first I'm just trying to remove the guideline and then use my blade open to clean up as close as possible to where I created my first guide, and then clean up in between it. And if there's anything else that needs to be cleaned up, then along the way, you know what I'm saying, just clean it up with it. I feel like it's a smooth process. It's a lot faster than having to go and do like the close to halfway to open method, just because you don't know what you'll be needing to flick halfway sometimes. Sometimes you don't even need to flick the entire thing. You just need a certain area. So I feel like it keeps you from overdoing steps, if that makes sense. Here doing the same thing, just cleaning up underneath and then coming up as high as possible, and then making the transition fit. And I was going to use my 1A blade, but for some reason, I don't know why the bracket keeps sliding. I don't know if it's the tightness or what. So instead, I just went in with my adjustables with the one comb on there all the way closed, just so I can get it as close as possible to what would have been equivalent to the 1A. And to be honest, I mean, it still makes the transition. And if I needed to, I could have went in with the 1.5 to clean it up some, but we wanted to make it a little lower. So then I just made the executive decision, and I feel like it was very decent. So now I'm going in with it closed, and I'm cleaning up into that last guide in between the one blade. And I feel like it isn't to remove anything, but most definitely debulk the entire area. And just, wait before I need to clean up anything else, because you never really know. Sometimes you don't have to clean up as much as you think you do. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, working my way. I'm actually using the halfway, the close to halfway open method there. Just because I think it makes the most amount of sense. I do feel like the closer you are to the skin, there is differences than whenever you do have more hair. So certain adjustments do make a difference. I feel like if you have the same system, it still is the same system regardless. But whenever you make adjustments within the way you cut, you create a system in itself. You just got to know what system you're using whenever you're cutting, depending on what you're cutting, the texture and all. So now, as you saw, I went in with the zero comb, and I made sure that I cleaned up everything, and then I also came down on it just so I can get it as tight as possible to the skin without actually creating any other harsh guides. Typically, whenever I do that, I try to do it like halfway open, or all the way open to halfway open. And if I can get it as close as closed, then I'll do that. But typically, I don't just go in with it closed trying to comb at the skin with the you know what I mean? So, nah, don't do that. Just go from open to close, and if you need to, close it some and then close it, you know what I'm saying, as much as you need to, but always begin with it open, just because you don't want to take off more than you need. And here I make sure that I use a brush whenever I'm doing this part, because with the comb, it is low enough to where you will have to like actually feed the teeth in with the like a taper comb or something like that. So I do use the brush, because then it'll just lay down, and then you could go to any process that you need to. So since I was able to do that, I had accomplished it already. So then I did detail a little bit with the blade. With the blade open, with the adjustables. Now I'm going in and prepping my client's skin, making sure that I get everything as lathered as possible, especially for the areas I'm trying to lay down. And for this, I do like to put it in the area where their hair is most dense, as well as their edge up, just because it makes it smoother. It's just gonna lay it down. Like, everything is gonna lay down, and then by the time I do put any product in it and stuff, it's gonna be an entirely different look. So I do make sure I get it in the areas, especially if it's a low cut, you know what I'm saying, or wave cut, however you want to call it. I do make sure I get it in those areas that the hair does typically stand up, just so everything lays down smooth, and I can wipe away any excess that I need to along the way. Just making sure I get it in all areas, trying to get it on the taper a little bit, you know what I'm saying, once I do go to brush it in, and then removing any other loose hairs that are in his head or on his skin before he leaves. I feel like it's a big thing as well. So yeah, I'm just making sure that was all laid. Now I come in with the hot towel that I just prepped and compress it, and just get all that moisture locked into his scalp as much as possible. Now, once all that moisture is locked in, then this will begin the preparation for his edge up. And now his edge up, it does have like the way it grows, it isn't evident that it's straight, but it's actually straight. It's just like I'm trying to find a way to put this. The way his, okay, so like close to his vertical bars is kind of where recedes a little bit, but it's not like receding, it's stunted growth, I think. Like, it grows, but it's not as long. But then, like, it does get longer, of course, but typically that area doesn't really grow. And this right here on this, like right by his temple area. So just making sure that I keep everything laid, you know what I'm saying, brushing it in. See, now the waves starting to pop a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just making sure I keep everything laid, going in the same direction that he would typically brush his hair is the best way to remove anything, you know what I mean? Just because it already has those grooves, so it's actually gonna come off as you know what I'm saying, go with it. Now, waiting on his hair to dry a little bit, I go in with my shaver, cleaning up underneath everything that I already cut. just making that cut last a little bit longer and look a whole lot better as compared to me just stopping with the the trimmers. And these style craft shavers, they are nice. I need to get the other ones. I ain't gonna lie. If they sponsor, hey, send them this video. But these shavers are nice though. I forgot what the other ones are called, but like they're like the double fold shavers. But yeah, these are very detailed, so I just make sure I get in those areas, those hard to get areas, and clean it up. And then also going with the taper on it, just so I can knock down the bulk of the taper a little bit more. As you can see, there is some like areas that need to be cleaned up, but this is literally the process of me just like sculpting and then preparing it for the details. Now just making sure I get everything as close to skin as possible. Removing all of that excess. Though I had already cleaned it up with the towel earlier. Now I'm just going there with the shaver and then making sure I get everything else that isn't just a part of the cut. So now I'm sculpting the top of it. Since it is still drying, it's still laid down a little bit. Just making sure I go in and clean it up, clean up everything that needs to be removed, just so this cut can look as smooth as possible before he leaves. And with this process, I do take my time because I go different directions. So if it looks slow-mo, then I don't know. I have to freeze frame the looks for sure. This process, I feel like it's very necessary. You can do it with the shaver. I just don't think the shaver takes off as much. I don't think the shaver takes off as much at all. Now, preparing his vertical bars, I know that the way it's growing, I mean, as you can see, the right side is a little bit higher. So then we're not even going to stress it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's natural. We're just going to let it do what it do. But we also got to make sure that it's as symmetrical as possible. Now I'm going in on the edge up, cleaning up all the way towards the vertical bar. And I'm cleaning up towards it. I'm cleaning up under it first. I mean, just because I want to make sure that if anything is vellus there, if it can stand out, then okay, I can let it stand out. And before I show it to him, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure that it's as sharp as possible. If you look at it close, you're going to see that it's there. Even though the hairs like around it, surrounding it, aren't growing that well, or at least as fast, it is still there. You know what I'm saying? So like in here, I'm letting them look at it in the mirror. I'm showing them where I can put it compared to where I put it already. If he wanted me to leave it there, you know what I'm saying? And he decided for me to leave it there, and that's the way I left it. I'm saying now I gotta just make the other side as symmetrical as I can get it, while still not going into it to the point where it's gonna cause issues whenever it does regrow. So now just clean up along what I already did. And here, making sure that I do get the edge up as close as possible, and replicating what I previously done on the right side. Even though I know that it is going to be harder because his left is dark. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he just, you know what I'm saying, he's not able to grow it it just takes a little longer sometimes. Like some areas do take longer to grow than others. And now with the shave, going and just making sure everything is nice and tight. And the shave actually did make a difference in this cut. Just looking at the comparison, I mean, you can obviously see the difference in the way the cut's coming together now. The edge up is looking way more prominent. This cut is all natural. There's no enhancements, none of that. It's all natural cut. This is just what type of results you can achieve whenever you do prep the skin properly and the hair before you actually just go in for an edge up. And now just detailing what I did with the razor, trying to compare it as much as possible. I know that his left side is lower, so I don't want to go into it too much. And I mean, it could be a combination of things. You'll never know. Just based on what type of clients you get that you're trying to achieve a certain look for, based on what they recommended for themselves already. Some people may want you to actually go into that area, but my client wears hats, and I feel like that's another thing. I mean, getting to know your clients. My client likes to wear hats, so sometimes he might not even be showing his haircut. And then, I mean, I don't know if the myth is a legend, but if it does cause his edge up to recede a little bit, then it makes sense. But we're not going to go into his edge up any more than what needs to be done. You can just leave it where it's at, and, you know what I'm saying, it'll still look good. Just making everything as sharp as possible. Now, it's a little hard to see that, like, how sharp it is or like where it's actually aligned at. But at the end of the cut, whenever I do turn it to that specific area, you'll see like exactly the way it looks and how sharp it is and everything. Fresh ash. Ain't need nothing else other than proper preparation. Now just cleaning up the taper a little bit. I mean, I feel like, I know for a fact this part of his hair, I don't know why. It grows darker though. But that's another thing, just learning your client. I mean, so sometimes I do have to go in on that area a little bit more at the end just to make sure everything is together. So I don't ever really stress it like in the haircut. I just typically wait until I get the shave and everything put together, and if anything looks off, then okay, obviously I need to go in on this a little more, or I might have to detail this a little better. So it's just, I feel like once the cut is all together though, then that's whenever it's actually, I feel like there's levels to details, you know what I mean? So like, of course you want to smash and accomplish all of them, but you got to make sure you're smashing them one at a time until you get to the, you know what I'm saying, the most important. Just making sure everything is as symmetrical as I can get it. And then I'm going to focus on how the hair is laying. But that won't be in this video though. But I mean, for the sake of this cut. And since this cut is all natural, I'm making sure that I get everything as close to its natural edge and sharpest edge as possible before letting my client leave. And this is the end of the cut. Be sure to comment, let me know what you thought about it, and hopefully you learned something from this video.